Alright, here's the original video release of Davy Crockett and the River Pirates, the sequel to Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, both of which were cobbled together from episodes of the Disneyland television series, the Davy Crockett episodes. Of course, that was a big craze in the 50s, and this is one of those titles that was for rental only first, as you can see here on the label, but then it was repackaged for sale only. I got this on eBay back in 2006. I don't really remember how much it cost, but it was worth it. Of course, it's got lots of stickers on the side of it. Video difference. This was from Florida, as it says the address on the side there. Very interesting nonetheless. I've only seen Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. I haven't seen Davy Crockett and the River Pirates, but I think it didn't do so well when it came out in theaters. You know, Walt didn't really care about sequels that much. He never usually did them. Once in a while he would, but they usually would underperform or not make as much as the original. That's the original video release of Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. This is how, you know, the for rental only tapes would begin. This is from the Davy Crockett and the River Pirates VHS. Let's take a look at that screen. Instead it says for rental only, not for sale, property of Walt Disney Telecommunications and non-theatrical company. Interesting. And of course the FBI warning plays that way. And I think, not sure, but Super Fun for Everyone, or maybe on his older channel, Videos for Everybody, which I think got suspended, he uploaded contents from these for rental only tapes, specifically the beginnings and the endings, and like previews for other Disney videos, long before the Walt Disney and You promo ever appeared on tapes. And, you know, and it surprisingly has the Buena Vista logo. Here's the original video release of The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, released in June 1981. The film was released in 1977. It was cobbled together from the 3 Winnie the Pooh theatrical short films and an added ending. They were edited together to form a full-length feature. These are both beta copies, of course. Print date on this one is April 26, 1983. And this was before The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was part of the Disney Animated Classics canon. I have to get it out carefully, just in case, because, you know, the packaging is fragile. Never know if it will break or not while holding this camera. Okay, the print date is May 3rd, 1983. Of course, the label's about the same. Back in the 80s, this was not considered part of the canon, and neither was Dumbo. Dumbo was shown on television by Walt himself, and The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was like a package feature. It was just a bunch of short films cobbled together into one film. So those weren't considered as important, and they were shown on television and then released on home video. The other ones, you know, like Snow White and Pinocchio, were never shown on television, so those would be like the untouchable films. They would always be reissued on a 7 to 8 year plan. They would come around, then they'd go back, and then they'd come back to theaters, and so they just released The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and the individual short films that make it up on home video. Very interesting nonetheless. I don't think I showed the back very much. And of course it mentions that those 3 shorts make up the whole film. Honey Tree, Blustery Day, and Tigger 2. There's a new Winnie the Pooh film coming out next summer, and that's going to be hand-drawn. Pretty happy about that. Not that I have anything against computer animation, but There needs to be more hand-drawn animated movies these days. So, there it is. The original video release of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Here's another very important Disney video for any Disney video collector. The original video release of Alice in Wonderland. Like Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland was shown on television by Walt Disney himself. It kicked off the Disneyland television series. I think it was the first episode or the second episode. And thus it was released on home video. But like Dumbo, it was released in 1981 for rental only first. And then in 1982, around November, it was also released for sale only with a case with artwork. The label, it's not in the greatest of condition, but what are you going to do? And the print date on here is October 18th, 1982. I got this back in like February, March 2006, and it wasn't that hard for me to get. I don't think it was as sought after as the Dumbo tape. Now let's take a look at what's on this tape. Alright, this is the opening to the Alice in Wonderland VHS. And it has the for sale only, not intended for rental screen. And I'll show everything up to the Buena Vista logo. It actually has the music on it, which is interesting. Of course, you got the blue warning. I don't know, the whole red warning and blue warning just doesn't match. You got the blue screen there. If only this camera could have better, resolution, so it doesn't look as bright, And the blue MPAA screen. Probably straight from a film print. Here we got Darby Go and the Little People, released on video in 1981. This is a beta copy. Film features Sean Connery. Very interesting. This was a couple years before he was James Bond. This is probably the first tape I own that has a print date on it. And the print date is October 13th, 1981. And this was one of those for rental only copies that was later made for sale only, repackaged. There's a label. This is supposed to be a really good film. I have to get a VHS or DVD copy of it and watch it. I remember the Nostalgia Critic actually, for #1 scariest scene or whatever, picked the Banshee. I guess the Banshee is the villain in this film. I've never seen Darby O'Gill, so... But it was interesting that he picked that as the scariest moment for his list. Okay, here we got the 1981 video release of Herbie Rides Again, the sequel to The Love Bug. And this is one of those for rental only tapes that was repackaged in a for sale only case. And look at how different the case looks compared to the other Walt Disney home video cases of the time. This is obviously from around 1983 because look at how big the Walt Disney home video logo is inside the box. In 1983, that's the way they looked. They had the huge Walt Disney home video logo inside the box as opposed to the smaller ones in the 1980 to 1982 releases. You got the label here. Yep, used rental cassette, much like the Love Bug tape and the Darby O'Gill tape. Pretty interesting. Nice addition to the collection. Alright, here we got the original video release of Pollyanna from 1981. October to be exact. And I've got 2 copies of this. take a look at the first copy. This is an early pressing. It's from February 22nd, 1982. Among the first Disney videos to use print dates. Of course, this was the film with Hayley Mills. She would later star in several other Disney films, including That Darn Cat, The Parent Trap, among others. And even mentions that Hayley Mills won an honorary Academy Award for Most Outstanding Juvenile Performance of 1960. Of course, the year this film came out. And this even has that sticker in there, the notice. And this copy is interesting because it's a former rental, which is not in very good condition, unfortunately. But it's also a much later printing with the different FBI warning screens. This printing is from December 15th of 1983. Let's take a look at the label here. Of course, got this at a closing. I guess it's been through a couple rental stores. My video place, but I found it at a Tommy K's. Isn't that interesting? So I guess it went through 2 rental stores before I got it. So yeah, those are the 2 Pollyanna tapes I have in my collection. Alright, here's the 1981 video release of The Devil and Max Devlin. The film actually came out earlier in 1981, but then was released to video quickly after its run. This is a beta copy. Disney's new comedy hit. Yeah, I think it was a moderate success at the box office. Bill Cosby is the devil in this movie. That's pretty interesting. I've not seen this movie, so I have no clue if it's good or if it's bad. Or also, Elliot Gould is in it. He would also be in the Disney film. Well, actually, he was in the Disney film The Last Flight of Noah's Ark, which came out before this movie. I'd have to see this film. It sounds very, very interesting. Get this box open carefully. And here we got the tape. And what's really funny is the rating isn't anywhere on the label or on the box. This was actually a PG-rated Disney film, much like The Black Hole and a couple others, but Disney, I guess, hid the rating on this tape for some reason. Oh well. So yeah, that's the original video release of The Devil and Max Devlin. Alright, here's Storybook Classics, a cartoon compilation released on home video around November 1982 or so. This was before the Cartoon Classic series in 1983, and it includes, let's see, those are the titles it includes. Yeah, it has Peter and the Wolf from Make Mine Music. And the Grasshopper and the Ants, correct me if I'm wrong, is actually on the A Bug's Life Blu-ray. Figures I should know this because I have A Bug's Life on Blu-ray, but I forgot. Here you got the label. Yep, Storybook Classics. Alright, here's the original video release of The Last Flight of Noah's Ark, released sometime around 82 or 83. Yep, like I said in The Devil and Max Devlin, Elliot Gould is in it. This is a much later printing, too. No MPAA rating. I think this might have been another one of the early Disney films to get a PG rating. August 22nd, 1984. Get it back in there carefully. There you have it, the original video release of The Last Flight of Noah's Ark. Alright, here's the original video release of Tron, which is an awesome film. Misunderstood when it was first released in '82, but it became a cult classic. And of course, I will quickly comment on Tron Legacy, which I saw last night in IMAX 3D. I thought it was epic. Highly recommended. Alright, back to the original Tron. Now, what's interesting is the Disney name is nowhere to be seen on the front cover of this clamshell. Let me give you a little backstory here. By the time the early 1980s rolled in, Disney was starting to be labeled as for kids only, and as long with everything else that was animated, except unless if it was a Ralph Bakshi film or if it was something like heavy metal. And nobody over the age of 10 or whatever would be caught dead being next to something with the Disney name on it. And Tron being a PG-rated sci-fi spectacle, Disney decided to hide their name on the poster and the VHS or whatever, put it in very small print so nobody would notice it on the cover. And that's the way they do it. And even the MPAA rating is on here. And what's funny is I think this is the only Disney video release where it has that "The Magic Lives On" slogan on the back. And it would be like this for the video cover of Text, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and Trenchcoat. And of course that would all end once The Black Cauldron came out, and that would be the first Disney animated feature to get a PG rating. But it's too bad that Disney had to be stereotyped as for kids only, and it kind of continues to this day, which is pretty sad because Disney makes family films which can appeal to anyone of all ages. They don't make children's films. Children's films only appeal to small children. Family films appeal to adults, children, everyone in between. Anybody can watch a family film, and that's what the Disney films are. Family films. So now that I got that out of my system, this is the original video release of Tron, and this is why they hid the Disney name on, the covers of Tron and Tex and other PG-rated Disney films in the mid-'80s. Up until Black Cauldron was released, of course, and up until Touchstone was formed. That's very interesting to say the least. And I don't think this tape actually opens with the Neon Mickey logo, much like the Trenchcoat tape. I forgot who told me, I think it was the Cinema Fan 94 or somebody told me that the tape doesn't open with the Neon Mickey logo, but it's pretty interesting. I don't have a VHS copy, so I wouldn't have known that. I'll make a correction on the annotation if I got anything wrong. And now the tape. I actually filmed it all the way through and realized I didn't show the tape. Yep, of course no MPAA rating here. And the print date, August 5th, 1983. Yep,